segundo es esto, la fábrica del día de la fecha. Arranca por la derecha el genio del fútbol mundial. Esta sección en donde lo que hacemos es repensar, redefinir, reanalizar todo lo que rodea al mundo de la industria de la música. Una actividad que tiene que ver básica y llanamente con la comercialización de bienes discográficos, pintura, teatro, ¿por qué no el cine? Y que en los últimos años ha cambiado un montón. Fíjense que hace unas décadas nomás, algo que para la historia es un puñadito de años, uno visitaba de barcos, de cosas, que transporten cosas, aviones que lleven la nueva placa de Led Zeppelin de un lado al otro, o lo necesario, la materia prima necesaria para reproducir en otra parte del mundo y distribuir las piezas, las obras, lo que sea. Hoy algunas cosas sigue pasando igual, y sí, el vestuario de teatro, qué sé yo, pienso algunas cosas que debe ser así, pero en la música ha cambiado un montón, han aparecido las tiendas digitales, han aparecido una accesibilidad total a los instrumentos, algo que también hace un par de décadas era muy difícil hacerse de una Gibson, de una Fender, y después no había mucho más. Ahora tenés Epiphone, Squiers, PRS y un montón de luthiers que hacen un montón de guitarras y de marcas chicas, y Cayola Mobiles y cosas así, y un montón de marcas nuevas que aparecen. Ahora no me viene ninguna, ¿viste? Después estás viendo marcas que salen por todo, ahora no me viene ninguna, pero ninguna me viene a la cabeza. Pero usted sabe de lo que hablo. Y bueno, ni hablar en lo que tiene que ver con el mundo de los sintes, ¿no? Y con una Arturia, algo de eso, una plaquita, un micrófono, podés hacer de todo, podés meter un hit en YouTube para millones de personas. Y para hablar de todos esos cambios, es que nos nutrimos de diferentes fuentes. Hemos hablado con productores musicales, hemos hablado con iluminadores, hemos hablado con artistas y muchos músicos, como es el caso del día de la fecha, donde nos vamos para Inglaterra para hablar con los amigos de The Very Things, que ya están conectados con nosotros. Hello, my friend, my name is Manu, there is Raulo. Are you listening good? We
Hello,
are live.
Good, that's all good. I'm delighted to be on Careta Radio.
Excellent. I love your accent, my friend. Okay, this is the way this is gonna happen. I'm gonna leave you with Raulo. He's gonna make you a questionnaire. It's the same question we make all bands from all the world.
Okay.
Later we're gonna talk about the present of the very things of the band. Okay.
Excellent.
Todo tuyo, Raulo.
Sí,
All yours.
Sí. We are really happy to meet you. We think that you make music from the heart, so that is important for us. Sí. We are live, so we are going to start with the interview. Please tell us your full name, where are you from, and how old are you?
Yeah, sure. My name is Robin Raymond Dalloway, and I'm from Worcestershire, in the middle of England, in the UK. I'm 68 years old.
60?
Wait a minute, it can't be right. No, I am.
It's okay.
I am.
Yeah, I'm over 40, so no problem with that. Perfect. And can you tell us which was your first memory of you listening to music?
Yeah, I can. It's not an entirely positive one, but it's something that had a big impact on me. I used to be babysat by a very lovely woman called Teresa, who loved the ballet, and consequently she had a collection of 78s. That was Tchaikovsky's score for the Sugar Plum Fairy. Now, one of those she used to play, and it used to absolutely terrify me. It was Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. I couldn't cope with it. I was only 3 or 4, but it used to terrify me. It really did. So one day, Teresa went out of the room, and I got the record, and I broke it. I snapped it. I jumped on and snapped it. And I put the parts at the back of the fireplace, hoping nobody would find it. And of course, it was found immediately, and I got into very serious trouble for it. But my defense was, self-defense. It was upsetting me.
Excellent. Bueno, I'm going to make a little translation for the Spanish listeners. Increíble.
Of course.
Sí, la primera experiencia ya es buenísima. Nos cuenta que su primera experiencia escuchando música, él tenía una niñera que se llama Teresa. You remember the name of the babysitter? That is important.
I do. She had a big impact on me. Yeah, part of my musical education.
Exactly, sí. Bueno, se acordaba de la niñera que tenía, que era Teresa, que decía que le ponía, era una fanática del ballet, y cuando el chico le ponía música clásica, que era, a él lo ponía muy nervioso y lo terrificaba, o sea, le daba miedo, y dice que un día cuando Teresa se fue le rompió los discos y esperaba que nadie le encuentre. Qué genio.
In my house, my mother have a pain for a drunk guy, no, a man drunk, and it's kind of very afraid for me. The same way that one time I told my mother, please get off that pain, and she tell me that the art is the la cosa, el destino of the art is transmitir. ¿Cómo digo transmitir?
Sí, impacts, que tiene que transmit something.
Claro, it impacts something with you.
Of the impact that it has on you.
Yes. It's not to be something good. It's not to be something nice. Just impact, and if it impact you, it's good art.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah, it's
okay.
It sort of has the same effect now. I can still listen to it, and it still sends a shiver down my spine. I love it now, but.
Excelente, sí, muy buen comienzo.
Pero uno confunde a veces que lo bueno es lo lindo.
Sí. No, not always the pretty things are the good things, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, claro.
Okay. So, and can you tell us which was your first instrument and which was the first song that you learned?
Yeah, we had a very old rickety piano that was mostly out of tune when I was little, and I used to sort of pick out tunes on that, but in the late 60s, my mum bought an Italian electric organ, a Lorenzo organ. I remember the name of it. And so that was a breakthrough. That was the modern world. And I started picking out tunes on that. But I kind of subverted it a bit, really. And this is, I guess this is an insight into my character somewhat. I found out that if I took the case apart, I could get inside it, and there were screws that altered the tuning of the organ, so I could make it sound much more like a synthesizer and play along with prog rock bands. Of course, I got into trouble for that as well, but you know, at least I was able to put that right and put the case back together. But yeah, it was me being creative, I suppose, even then.
Creative, the second thing. Not all things are the creative.
Well, eventually, I saved up and I bought a very cheap electric guitar. That actually wasn't bad. Looking back, it was. I've had worse since. And the first whole song I learnt to play was his latest Flame, the Pomus and Schumann track as recorded by Elvis Presley.
Beautiful.
You familiar with that? Do you know that song?
Sí. And Elvis Presley, it was big in the UK in the 60s?
Yeah, really big. Yeah, really. It's a really dark song, but it's I love it. Yeah.
Sí. Otro gran dato. We love to speak with people from all around the world. That particular things, you know. I didn't know that in the UK Elvis era muy grande. No sabía, Manu, que había llegado a ser tan grande en los 60 en Estados Unidos. Y bueno, lo que nos cuenta que él empezó tocando un piano que había ahí viejo en su casa, y después, bueno, la madre en el final de los 60 compró un órgano Lorenzo italiano, y que él se metía adentro para ser creativo y hacerlo sonar de diferentes maneras. Y después lo que nos contó que había comprado una guitarra muy barata, bueno, y que se había puesto a tocar canciones de Elvis también, que son realmente, algunas son muy raras o lentas, y que Elvis fue grande en el Reino Unido. Yo no sabía que había sido tan grande. And can you tell us, are there any places to study music for free, or you always have to pay in the UK to study music?
You know, there are lots of places to study music for free. There's a lot of community projects. At least in my part of the UK, there's a lot of projects for bands and for orchestras and choirs. I haven't dipped into that. I had music lessons at school mostly, and I enjoyed singing in a choir, and it's where I sort of learnt that I had an ear for producing harmonies. Which it took me a while to understand that not everybody had. So, you know, that was quite a useful learning curve. So at school it was mostly classical with some folk music, but it was very, very traditional. And it didn't really enthuse me much, and I don't think I learned much about music. I listened to a lot of pop music on the radio. But the music I really fell in love with was black American music that I heard through my older brother, who was a soul and ska DJ in the late 60s. And he used to play me stuff, and it just yeah,
Wow.
I just fell in love with it.
Sí.
So
See, and what do you think, sorry, this is a personal question, but we make it all around the world. Why do you think that black American music was huge, was big in the UK?
I think it was seen as very exotic, and it was certainly very different to what British bands were doing. But there were British bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, it was rock music, and I really liked that. But the sophistication of the stuff that was coming out of Detroit, Tamla Motown and Stax music, was just another level for me. It was just extraordinary. And I just instantly fell in love with it and was beguiled, really, by its sophistication. I think that was the thing.
But
and it's...
No, it's really interesting. Sorry that I interrupt you, but you think that black American music or music from Detroit was more sophisticated than the Beatles?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
Yeah, I do, just both in the writing, the production and the recording. It's extraordinary. I think the sophistication is staggering.
So, perfect. We were playing some blues in the radio now, and Manu is a big fan of the Rolling Stones, you know.
Yeah, well, me too, especially early Rolling Stones, yeah. But I was going to say, it amuses me every time I think of it, but at my very traditional school, I remember the teacher asking us to name some composers, so everybody's Beethoven, Mozart, and it got to me and I said Holland Dozier Holland, and she said that's not a name I recognise. And I said, well, they're the three guys who write all the tunes for Tamla Motown. And she said, I don't think that's quite what we were looking for.
Beautiful. What you're
but I couldn't see a difference. To me, I couldn't see a difference between classical music and the stuff from Motown I was hearing.
Increíble lo que acaba de pasar, Manu. O sea, bueno, nos está contando.
A mí me sorprendía. I read a lot about the early year from the Rolling Stone, and surprised to me, I knew artists like Big Bill Brownsby, and maybe even Alex Lomax I learned about and that kind of stuff. And I wanna ask you because I heard about Alexis Corner in the London scene. If that was very, very big, or was something small but near from the musician but not for the people?
It was very well, yeah. Alexis Corner was very big with other musicians, but he had quite a high profile. But it was more the projects he was involved in. So in the 70s, he was involved in a project called CCS, and they had a couple of hits. But he was a clever man, very, very clever man indeed, and was obviously very influential in both in jazz and R&B. And for a lot of people, I think would cite Alexis Corner as being an influence.
Incredible. And another musician, please, is I love the Graham Bond band.
The Graham Band.
The Graham Bond band when Ginger Baker plays.
Oh, Ginger Baker, yeah.
Yes. Here in Argentina or all over the world, we meet the Beatles, we meet the Stones and Zeppelin, but that kind of under music from England, it's so no la conocemos. We don't know anything about that. I love even Martin from the Hank Marvin from the. I love that kind of sound from the Shadows. I love the London scene and the England scene, and I wanna have your opinion for that scene of the music.
That's really interesting to hear your perspective on that, about what actually cut through into your part of the world. For me, I suppose the more wayward parts of British pop music from that time. So I really like the Yardbirds, early Yardbirds. It's just pretty heart full of soul, man. It's just.
I saw John Mayer with the Heartbreaker here, and we are not. It's not full. There's not full.
Yeah.
The theater. We are a few people, and it's John Mayer and the Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Sí. Manu is really happy to meet you. You know, Raúl.
I'm delighted to meet you.
Like, wow.
And thanks for the effort to try to understand my poor English.
No, not at all. Just going on from what we were saying earlier on, I was going to say that the idea of me creating music didn't occur to me until the advent of punk, really, and a few friends and I started a band. But so I didn't really learn much music from other people, but I did once punk started, because I started to analyse pop music for myself and teach myself about how it was structured and how it was put together and how it could have the effect that it was having on me, why it was having that effect on me, and how I could do something with that.
Impresionante, impresionante lo que haga. Sorry, I'm going to make a little translation for the Spanish listeners. We are really glad to meet you. No, es increíble. Bueno, nos está contando un poco de la historia de todo lo que pasaba a finales de los 60 y a los 70. Él tiene un hermano que era DJ. Y la primera cosa que nombró, bueno, que escuchaba mucha música americana negra, y ahí fue el primer shock, o sea, porque la consideraba música de un nivel altísimo. Toda la música que venía del sello Stax o de Motown decía que era muy superior a los Beatles inclusive, o sea, primera sorpresa para mí, y a los tempranos Rolling Stones. Y bueno, que él, por ejemplo, decía que él estaba en una escuela tradicional de Inglaterra, y cuando le dijeron de nombrar artistas, nombró a la gente de Motown, y la profesora le dijo no es específicamente lo que estábamos buscando, y bueno, después lo que nos nombraba a través del hermano también, que era DJ y todas esas cosas, estaba envuelto en música permanentemente. Lo sorprendió muchísimo Manu también, hablando de música, de música, digamos, que no era tan mainstream en los 60, y que hay un montón de música para explorar, que eso es lo que me gusta, Manu, de vos, que yo no sé nada. I don't know anything about that kind of things in the UK in the 60s and in the 70s, and Manu knows that. Sí, and I'm completely shocked what you were saying about the Beatles and that kind of things. It's incredible. Muy bueno todo lo que estaba contando. And can you tell us which was the first concert that you went?
Yes, I can. I was 15 and I went to see Roxy Music on their first tour. March 18th, 1973.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're playing the first album then. And I was just absolutely blown away. I got the first album and listened to it, and it was just, it was like hearing music from another world. It really was. And I really was overwhelmed by the experience. And, you know, a friend and I remember, you know, us trying to play over the album, play along with it.
Complicated.
Yeah.
Complicated.
This isn't working at all. I don't know what these guys are doing. I really don't. And I think that just compounded the view that it kind of wasn't for me. I wasn't able to create music, that somehow it was the province of special people, you know, from somewhere else, not from Earth.
They are not from Earth. Bueno, I want to speak with you about David Bowie and what happens with David Bowie in that kind of time. He was really big in the when he started, or it was hard to meet David Bowie music.
It's really, really interesting, you know, because there's a lot of revisionism that goes on about David Bowie, in my humble opinion. That the early material, he was seen as a kind of as a light entertainer, not a kind of a rock musician. And it wasn't really until I don't know, maybe a couple of albums before Ziggy Stardust. Sure. But certainly by the time Ziggy Stardust was around, that's when the full-fledged David Bowie was around. And rather frustratingly, at about the same time I saw Roxy, I'd queued for 8 hours to get tickets for the Ziggy tour at the town hall in Birmingham. Ooh. And I gave my ticket to my girlfriend. How foolish! How foolish is that?
You were in love. It's okay. It's okay.
Unbelievable.
Well, you were in love. It's okay. It happens when you're young, you know.
When you're young and foolish. Yeah.
Increíble.
Yeah. Bueno, if you transport me back, there's no way she's giving that ticket.
No, don't say that, please. No, lo que acabo de contar es terrible. Bueno, también está todo en paralelo, muy interesante toda la época que vivió, bueno, de los 60 a los 70 en Inglaterra, y también dijo que tuvo la oportunidad, su primer concierto fue a los 15 años, Roxy Music, y ahí fue cuando linkeé con con David Bowie. Dice que bueno, sí, que al principio, sí, Roxy Music, y que dice que al principio David Bowie era visto como un entretenedor, no puntualmente como un artista de rock, y bueno, después a partir de sí, Stardust, sí, y lo que estaba diciendo que bueno, él tenía un ticket, estuvo 8 horas para conseguir un ticket para ir a ver así Stardust y se lo regaló la novia, así que increíble final para gran anécdota. And can you tell us how did the very things started and why you put that name?
Yeah, there's a bit of backstory to this, I suppose, really, and that's that. I went to see the Stranglers in 1977, early 77, in a nightclub in Birmingham, Barbarella's nightclub, and that was a road to Damascus moment for me. And we decided to form a band on the way home. The band we formed was a very early punk band called the Cravats, and we were signed to a record label called Small Wonder. After we'd released their own single, we self-pressed a single. John Peel played it on Radio 1, BBC Radio 1, wow. And we were signed pretty much, straight away. It's when record labels were really hoovering up bands. So, anyway. What happened then? Well, we did 2 albums and 4 John Peel sessions and about half a dozen singles. Whoa. With that label. And by 1982, I was really happy with what we'd done. I was really happy with all the recordings, but it felt like we'd reached a sort of watershed. And I felt I wanted a bit more freedom, and to do something different. And I suppose that's what led to the birth of the very things. At the time, this is all pre-internet, of course. We had no idea how many people were listening to the Cravats. We didn't know how many people were actually into it and how well loved the band was. And maybe had we known, it would have been different. But as it was, we felt like we were just outsiders. And it was maybe just only John Peel that was interested. So, subsequently we formed the Very Things.
Perfect.
I was listening to a wide variety of stuff, jazz and rockabilly and psychedelia, and I really wanted to include those styles and those flavors into what we were doing. And the only way to do that, I think, was to break up the band and reformulate it in a way that wasn't a fixed structure. Uh-huh. So it would just be the Shend and I. We founded the Cravats and we founded the Very Things together. I suppose the work has been generally described as post-punk, which is a pretty good label. But around this time, we were listening to a lot of 60s garage punk, American stuff, Pebbles and Nuggets.
Ahí está.
All that stuff, all that R&B stuff.
The Nuggets, you say the compilation?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, I love that kind of...
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah. Yeah, and we were watching a lot of old 50s sci-fi films and episodes of The Twilight Zone and Outer Limits, and still listening to Tamla Motown, and we wanted to kind of make a melange of that, pull it all together, and create a flexible container for art, pop and post-punk projects, but also to retain a kind of core identity that would go through all that material. Also, in England when I was growing up, if someone described something as being the very thing, it would be something they've been searching for. That shirt's the very thing. So it kind of it made us laugh, and it was an archaic phrase, and it was an absurd name, and it kind of chimed with our Dadaist interests. And it didn't have too much rock music baggage, which was a good thing. And if it reminded us of anything, it would have been something like a 1930s jazz band or something really, really weird. But anyway, it was a flexible enough name that we felt it was something we could work under.
Muy bueno. Manu, y ahí también arranca lo del post-punk. We were fighting with Manu what is post-punk, no? But you named the 60s garage. I think that is a route that not everybody speak about, no? In the 60s garage band, ahí está el link, entonces que nos faltaba. Thanks for the information, it's incredible.
I absolutely agree.
Sí.
Yeah.
Bueno, y ahí está Manu lo que nos contaba, que es la segunda vez que aparece en las John Peel Sessions. Él tenía una banda que se llama The Cravats Punk, sí, y bueno, que tuvieron la oportunidad de meter hacerlo en la John Peel Sessions y bueno, se hizo bastante conocida. Después querían tocar algo que sea un poquito más que punk y ahí fue cuando se fueron abriendo los integrantes, formaron The Very Things y The Very Things era como una expresión cuando ellos eran jóvenes. Sí, claro, exactamente. Sí. You have to know, Robin, when you say The Very Things in Argentina is la posta. Okay. The main thing is la posta, sí, perfecto, muy bueno. Sí, you have, it's excellent. That Manu is, sí, he's clever. He's a clever person. And can you tell us, you have the chance to release your first single, The Gong Man, in 1983. How was the feeling when you record in 1983 a record? How was the feeling? You know, I think that it's different from now.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And also, we made it different anyway to other experiences. So having put the cravats on ice in about 82, we started working on those first two tracks, The Gong Man and The Colours Are Speaking to Me. And it was, I guess it was supposed to be like a manifesto, like this is what we're going to do. And we recorded it in our rehearsal rooms with a mobile studio. So we could do what the hell we wanted to. We could do whatever. So we made like a xylophone out of big bits of metal. You can hear us playing. Me playing in the Gong Man with a hammer, and we wouldn't have got away with that in a proper recording studio. So we felt free. We felt just able to do pretty much whatever we wanted to. And those two tracks appeared on Crass's Corpus Christi label as a double A side with a really nice screen printed fold out sleeve with photographs taken by me of the Gong Man. And then as soon as we'd finished that, I always write. I've been writing all the time since I was a teenager. As soon as that single was put to bed, I started work on writing what became the first album. And Shen had an idea around this time, just a phrase, "The bushes scream while my daddy prunes." And just by sheer coincidence, I saw a news story that was about a guy who'd accidentally set fire to his house, trying to get rid of moles in the garden. You know what moles are? The things that burrow underground? Yeah. So he was trying to get rid of those and, cleanse his garden, and in so doing, set fire to his house. And it was just perfect. It seemed absolutely perfect, because I was thinking about the ideas of control and neurosis and all that sort of stuff as themes for the album, and this just fitted perfectly with it, really. So
sorry for that. I think that that is a big difference between American rock and UK rock. That you make simple things like burning the house with the malls. Really big. Esa es una, Manu, la mayoría de los grupos ingleses toman cosas del diario, del día a día y las hacen explotar. Se quejan. You're arguing, fighting with reality always in the rocks. I think that, sí, es espectacular lo que acaba de contar, terrible. Se inspiró en un tipo que prendió fuego la casa por tratar de sacar a los topos del jardín, boludo. Es increíble. Excellent.
It's spotting the absurd in everyday life. It's there. It's everywhere, man. You just, it's just spotting it and doing something with it. But yeah, so we recorded the album anyway in two blocks over the winter of 83, 84. Again, using the mobile studio, so we were pretty free to do whatever we wanted to. But also by this time we'd acquired a drummer. Although I drummed on that first single, we wanted a more accomplished drummer for the album. And we couldn't find one. We tried a few guys, standing in, and a kind of a stand-in bass player so that Shen could concentrate on vocals, but it wasn't working. We went to a pub called the Fox in Redditch, a really backstreet old pub, and there was a band playing there, but it included a 15-year-old Disney Time playing drums, and he was just off the wall. It was just, where's this guy coming from? It's just, I don't know, he's like a free spirit, And we had a chat with him after, and we just clicked. We just absolutely clicked with him. And it was just a couple of weeks, and he joined us. We made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He joined us, and we were rehearsing for the first album.
Perfect.
So
muy buena experiencia. I think that the you say the word absurdity. The absurdity in rock in England is incredible. La libertad y lo absurdo, Manu, está muy metido en un montón de cosas en el rock inglés, y acá nos está contando todas las historias. It's incredible what you are saying. And can you tell us, in July of 2024 you released your last album, Mr. Arc Eye Under a Cellophane Sky. It's incredible that. See, why you put that name? See, to the last album. See.
Yeah, well, it all started. I met an old friend of mine, an old Very Things fan, in Birmingham by chance a few years ago, and he said, you should do some more Very Things stuff. And I didn't really think about it very seriously, but on the train home, my mind just started working on its own about what the Very Things would sound like if we took a line from The Bush's Scream through Motortown, our second album, and projected it out. Where would it have ended up? So before I knew where I was, I got a handful of songs, and we were working on a new album. The idea for the name, Mr. Arceye Under a Cellophane Sky, was really about it coalesced from me thinking about the themes, and it was to do with reality and belief and truth and falseness, and what seemed to be a really good metaphor for me was the condition arceye. It's a temporary condition that people get if they're welding without protection, without glasses, without goggles. They get something a bit like snow blindness. I don't know if you heard of it, but it's called arceye. A friend of mine, Jack Thomas, was a bit of a kind of a reckless character, and he was always repairing cars and stuff, and very often without any visor and getting arceye, and he'd come around and he could barely see. So I thought this is really good metaphor. People being kind of cut off and thinking they can still see reality, and actually they can't.
Excellent. That is the digital life now. I think that is the digital life. Completely agree.
100%. That's exactly. Absolutely it. We're getting a version of reality, and it's really choosing, what to believe and what not. Not evaluating things, just taking things wholesale off the internet.
Exactly. Sí, Manu es igual a vos. You're really similar to Manu, but in an English way. It's incredible that you meet. Manu, es excelente lo que nos dice también. Bueno, y lo que nos estaba contando del nombre del disco nuevo, en 2024 largaron un disco, y lo que nos estaba contando es que es como ver todo a través de unos lentes que no sirven para nada. O sea, que la era digital, o sea, pasó de grabar un disco en 1983 a grabar un disco ahora a través de un amigo que le dijo, ¿por qué no sacás algo de The Very Things? Y él iba pensando, bueno, lo largaron y sacaron el disco el año pasado, bueno, con una crítica obviamente a todo lo que está pasando en este momento, sí.
I would like to ask you about the influence and impact of Aleister Crowley on the English music. You say about the Tchaikovsky at first of the note, and if you believe, like me, that there is a big difference between the new and the not so new generations.
That's interesting. I can only talk about my personal experience. The Aleister Crowley thing was really big in the 70s here, and a lot of bands cited him as an influence. It never was for us. We kind of looked, I suppose, earlier than that. We looked to German expressionist film, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and that sort of stuff. Okay. Which I absolutely adored. It's resonated with us, I think, a lot. More than the kind of cod, witchcraft stuff that there was knocking around in the 70s. I think that's, I'm not sure I can say much more about that.
See, in America, I would say Edgar Allan Poe and Lovecraft, but I think that is one of the big difference with the new and not so new music.
Espectacular lo que acaba de decir. Sí. And you name Germany. You like the electronic music coming from Germany in the 80s and that kind of things?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love DAF and Kraftwerk, of course.
Sí.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. And I love the way that influenced, the electronic music that came out of the UK in the 80s as well. It influenced Human League and Heaven 17 and Cabaret Voltaire and those sorts of bands.
Excellent, excellent. We are really happy to meet you. We are going to meet again. We are going to meet you again. In some future. And the music of the very things are played on in our radio. It's not the Sean Peel sessions, but something similar. Sorry for that. It's excellent to meet you.
I want to recommend to you the Damit Records. Raúl, no sé si tienes la data.
Sí. Then we are going to send you some links for record labels that are playing in our radio, and maybe you like some of them. Sí.
Okay, yeah.
Sí, of course. You can listen to that.
Yeah, by all means, yeah.
Sí, perfect. No, we are really happy to meet you. And 3 more questions. Do you use artificial intelligence?
I don't personally, but I don't mind. I don't have a view about people doing that. I don't think it's a problem. It would be for me. It would be for me. The reason being that I think what I do is pretty idiosyncratic, and it would be hard to predict what I might be going to do next, because it would be a synthesis, even if it was an extension of what I'd done before. And very often I just dive into something else. I think it would also diminish that human-to-human contact, me having that contact directly with the listener. So I couldn't justify it. But I'm happy for people to do that if they can justify it to themselves. That's,
Excellent. Muy bueno. Can you tell us something about the future plans of I have to say that I have to make the question. The future plans of the very things. What do you have in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. We've just started work on a new album. When we finished the Mr. Archive Under a Cellophane Sky, I was a bit intimidated listening to it, thinking, I'm not sure if we can do anything that good again, really. So I started straight away, and we've got about 5 or 6 tunes that we're working on, and loads more in the pipeline. So there'll definitely be another album, and we're also rehearsing. Thanks. And we're rehearsing as well for gigs which will be taking place next year, I think. But that includes everybody who played on the Mr. Archive album, which is really exciting. It's really good fun to be playing with those people.
Excellent. Sí. And just Manu, si tenés alguna pregunta más o estamos.
No.
Sí. We are really happy to meet you. We are going to finish the interview. Thanks for your time. It's incredible. Then we are going to send you the link for the interview, so we can remember this interview. It's incredible. Sí. And just to finish the interview, we are going to play Let's Go Out. Can you tell us something about that particular song?
I can indeed. That's marvellous. What a great choice. We've actually just been rehearsing some of this older material, and it was really exciting to be playing it again. I really have a soft spot for Let's Go Out. It was our second single off the Motortown album, and at the time it was getting daytime play on Radio 1, so it was a big thing for us and really, really exciting. It was from, as I say, from Motortown, which, and the album had a number of themes. Let's Go Out seems to be taking place at a party in an urban apartment. It's a woman asking a guy out, or appears to be. Whichever it is, she's taking the lead. So, but it's also to do with themes of optimism. The optimism that there was in the 60s kind of falling away in the 70s and 80s. Birmingham kind of saw itself as a bit of a British Detroit, I think, in the 60s and 70s, and it kind of created a really an environment that wasn't very good for humans. I think, by the late 70s and early 80s, it was pretty grim, the middle of Birmingham. But people were still having fun and still going out and going to bars and stuff, and I wanted it to be about that positivity in the face of that kind of really unpleasant environment. And it was about agency. It was about people taking their lives into their own hands and creating their own destiny, creating their own futures.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time. We keep in touch, and it's incredible to meet you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Lovely to meet you guys as well. Hope to meet again.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Bye-bye.